prevent premature aging of the body. We have to understand the role of body and mind cells, how they impact the DNA, and how genetically we grow, and what role does genes have to play in our body, and what role does DNA have to play in our body, what role does hormones have to play in our body that is produced by the endocrine system, how they influence the premature aging that we encounter in our day-to-day lives. The techniques, the kind of implementations, and how we are going to implement those techniques in order to get the accurate results. Before addressing that, we need to discuss and we need to think that how premature aging of the brain and the mind takes place. We have already had a great video. We have discussed enlargedly and we have discussed elaborately on this matter, on this subject, that how premature aging of the brain can be controlled. We are not going to repeat it again. Today we are going to discuss how to prevent the premature aging of the body and the immunity system. It is about the immunological theory. It is about the autoimmune system theory. What is autoimmune system theory? It is the kind of immunity that has been designed by the Supreme Consciousness in the body of every living creature, that is designed in a way to decline with time, with moment, with age. The immunity that fights with the diseases, the immunity that fights with any sort of threat that the body senses, any kind of disease, any kind of, if you are sick, any kind of germs, any kind of parasitical impact, any kind of attack by some sort of viruses, everything is controlled, everything is fought and battled by your immunity system. The stronger the immunity system, the more slow will be your aging. Now, in order to prevent immunity system, some people, what they do is, they do exercises, they work out, they overwork out, they overexhaust themselves. Some people choose to go for external vitamins, suppose multivitamins and sorts, so that they can externally benefit their aging and they can externally benefit their process of aging and the immunity system. Now, regardless of which of the following you are doing, what we have to know is, it is about the brain cells, it is about the body cells. So in order to get a hold on your aging, you have to get a hold of your DNA, because it is genetically, a person 20-year-old can have full lot of and hell lot amount of white hair and graying of hair, whereas a person of 40 years of age can have not a single hair that is gray in color, that is white in color, and they have natural black colored hair. How does it all happen? A 20 or 30 years of person can be such that he or she cannot work out a lot, they get exhausted very quickly, whereas a 40 to 50-year-old man can work out properly and they can work out in a way that will prevent their aging system. Now the immunity is playing the role. It is impacting your mind, it is impacting the DNA. It is all controlled by the DNA, the mood swings, the emotional swings that you are having, and those DNAs are going to influence the hormones. Where are the hormones produced? They are produced in the endocrine system. Now, which is the technique that we are going to apply in order to prevent premature aging? It is setting up productive routine and getting done with unproductive, useless routine. It has to do with your mind. You have to understand it has to do completely with your mind, because it is the neurons that is receiving certain kind of messages. It is the neuron that after having received certain kind of messages, those messages are proceeded, those messages are transported, they are communicated, they are transmitted to other neurons of the body, and accordingly a person reacts. For example, if a 40-year-old man has lost his memory and he has been told that he is not 40, he is 20-year-old man, then an entire reverse might not take place, but most of his activities will be guided according to a 20-year-old person's DNA. His DNA will get a particular message, his genes will get a particular message through the subconscious, through the neurons, that he is 20-year-old. It means he is full of energy, he is full of immunity, so he will lead a life in a way that he can crack big deals. It is a hell lot of career in front of him. He has lot of time, he can set a great career for himself, he can can do a lot of workout, he will get married, he will have children, he will have a great family life, a great social life, and a very prosperous life. Those are the dreams that a 20-year-old man or woman has in the mind. They are career oriented, they are family oriented, rather they are happiness oriented. They chase their dreams, they are full of dreams, whereas a 40-year-old man, naturally, they have led their life half according to them, and now it is the past experiences which will further guide and impact and influence their DNA. They will impact their decision making, their impact their kind of performance and outcome. But since the memory has been lost, so a 40-year-old man, when loses his memory and thinks that he is 20-year-old, with the zeal, with the same amount of productivity, he will have a very productive routine, and likewise his DNA will get trained, and the outcome will be likewise. He will not get subjected to leave alone premature aging. His normal aging process will also slow down, completely slow down. He will live a life as happy, as content as a 20-30-year-old man. Why is it happening? It is about the mind cells, it is about the brain cells, it is about the exchange of messages. You have to train your DNA. Once you train your DNA, you can influence and impact the outcome and the effect that the DNA is having in your body, because it is the DNA that sends you the kinds of messages. So we can make use of our routine. You can take help of any NLP coach, any spiritual coach. You can do it by yourself. Set out a routine for yourself that will have a complete mixture, a complete balance of your work life, your office life, your emotional life, your love life, your family life, and your spiritual life. It will have a balance of it. It will be assorted activities in your daily routine, and you will see the result in few months, especially in 1 year. Why I am saying 1 year is because the mind has got information that you have your birthday in every 1 year, you grow 1 year older. The fact is, just as your nails are growing, just as your hair is growing, after every day, every hour, every moment, every day, every 2 days, you are aging. It is not, it doesn't have to do with a particular year, but since the mind has that sort of information, you will find the changes within you. Just apply it practically in your life. Work on your routine. Work on the messages that your DNA is receiving. Once you get that right, your premature aging will stop. Rather, your normal aging processes will slow down. That is what the scientific researchers has proven. That is what various scientific research institutes have worked upon. Various Japanese techniques, the breathing technique, the breathing out, inhaling, exhaling technique, the yoga and various kind of yogic practices, they all basically aim at working on how well you are aging and how your aging process is graceful and you are not aging prematurely. Take the example of a laborer who is working in a labor class. His body will be much fit compared to an office going person who is doing very well in his life. Why? Because physically that person may be fit, that labor may be fit because he is doing a lot of physical activity, but he has seen a lot of sorrow. He is battling day-to-day battles, day-to-day bread and butter that he is earning. He is struggling for it. So mentally he is going through a lot of trauma, mentally he is going through a lot of problems. So he will age more compared to a same aged person who is working in an air-conditioned office, who is having a very well-to-do life, a well-to-do spouse, he is leading a happy life. He may not be that happy, but compared to that labor, his aging will become slow. Although you will see certain changes, his body might not be fit because physically he is not that active, but his aging mentally will be much more slow compared to that labor whose hair have grown white and who has grown more and more aged in his appearance. Rather, he is not that old. Both are same aged, but the outcomes are different. It is about how your gene, in collaboration with the atmosphere you are in, the synergy effect of the genes and atmosphere can only prevent premature aging. Work for yourself, do it by yourself, and you will see the result for yourself. Great 41 days of life-changing course, life-changing experience. No dependency. What the slavery? It's at the end of the day, the dependencies that is again causing you symptoms within you, causing you to grow old or grow young. So cells in the body are impacting and sending the kind of messages to your knees, to your hands, to your body parts. For instance, if you are a 50-year-old man and you have fully realized that this is my age, then the DNA will send you a message that don't walk too fast. If you walk too fast, if you hyperactivate yourself, then your blood pressure can shoot up. So mind your age, behave your age, and stop running. And on the other hand, if another 40 or 50-year-old man has forgotten what age he is in a complete memory loss, and somebody has told him that he is 20 or 30-year-old, then the DNA will receive the same kind of message that, okay, even if I work fast, my BP is not going to shoot. And that is how the immunity will respond. The immunity will prevent your BP from shooting, and you will be physically much more fitter in spite of having reached an age, because you are not thinking the age to function in a particular way. It is about the mindset, it is about the memory that has filled certain information, that has taken in certain information that this has to happen in a particular way. If you are fat, you cannot dance. If you are too slim, then you cannot run fast. If you are very bad in your studies, you cannot be a successful person. If you are very good in your studies, then you have to be a very successful person and you will do great in your life. It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. But the DNA has received some sort of training from its childhood. The training has been given by your ancestors, by your parents, by your relatives, by the social media, whatever we see around. That is the kind of training that we receive in. We have to completely untrain our DNA and we have to reprogram our DNA. And yes, DNA can be reprogrammed, DNA can be worked upon. It is the effort that we have to make. We have to chart out a routine that has some sort of productivity. If you whole day you pass out by listening music, if you pass out a whole day by simply passing out, by simply drowsing, by sleeping, by scrolling in Instagram, by watching the web series, and if you are not doing something productive, even at the age of 20, you can grow old. Even at the age of 20 to 30, that is the peak age of your life, and that peak hour, the prime years of your life, if you while away those time and if you are not doing something productive, your mind and body will begin to function in a way an old man is supposed to do. And who defines how an old man should function? It is the information taken in by the memory, by the society, by the societal standards, by your parents, by your relative friends. The society as a whole as charted out that this is how an old man should function and this is how an old and a young man should function. It doesn't work like that. Understand and get a clearer picture of the endocrine system and the hormones, because at the end of the day, it is the hormones that is going to work. How? This is the way you can impact it. Let's get rid of the dependencies. 41 days of life-changing course, life-changing experience. No dependency, what the slavery.